Penguins, Bruins, Pens fall 4-1 to the Bruins. How did they do so? Morgan Geekie scores in 5th straight. We also got a new career high. I'm Scott McGregor. Welcome to Penguins Postgame. You're locked in to Penguins hockey on the Sports for Beginners podcast. Sidney Crosby and the Penguins play here on the Sports for Beginners podcast. He shoots, he scores. The bingo game is ready to roll. Welcome to Penguins Postgame. PPG for PGH. And you'd have to be here to believe it. Here is your host, Scott McGregor. How's it going, Pens fans? Your host of Penguins Postgame, Scott McGregor, back here with you. I told you I'd be back here. Want to let everyone know that we are going to get to the Baltimore Orioles and the Blue Jays recap. That actually will be following this show, as luck would have it. Even though the Penguins are down to one more game in the 2024-2025 season, that leaves just one more chance. And maybe the only opportunity this year we will have for a Blue Jays game recap, Penguins post game, double trouble. Speaking of double trouble, we will wrap things up on the diamond with the Blue Jays and the Orioles. But we can't get to the Oriole recap until we do today's game. It's Boston, it's Pittsburgh. Both teams looking for the season winner in the season series. Before we jump into the head coaches and officiating crew as well as goaltenders, let's quickly remind you of how this series went previously. In the last time these two teams met at PPG Paints Arena, it was the Boston Bruins picking up a win. They defeated the Pittsburgh Penguins 3-2. Earlier in March, that was on March 1st. And this was a regulation win for the Boston Bruins. In 2024, earlier in the year, on November 29th, the Penguins won the only meeting at TD Garden between the Boston Bruins and the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'll give a shout out to Boston Bruins head coach, head runner of Coach's Corner on Hockey Night in Canada, and now running the podcast, Don Cherry's Grapevine. Give a shout out to the Boston Bruin fan himself, Don Cherry. Excellent work. Obviously, we all know the situation with him, but we don't know what exactly happened with him. But we all know that what basically happened on the November of the last Hockey Night in Canada for Coach's Corner. This segment was taken down because of some words that Don had said that, as you heard him say himself, he meant everybody, but it didn't come out that way. I won't get into that. But again, giving a shout out to Don and the Grapevine podcast. Check it out wherever you listen to podcasts. Whenever you have time, I'll leave a link in the description of this episode in place of the Broadcast Map YouTube channel link that we would always put in to the Grapevine podcast for you to check out as well. Alrighty, enough jibber jabber. I want to make sure we also get into a look around the NHL, and we will do that later in the show. But we can't do that without meeting our head coaches, goaltenders, and our officiating crew. It's game number 81 of 82 for both of these squads. Game number 40 at home for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Game number 41 on the road for the Boston Bruins. And we'll touch in on their schedule. I would like to say that given the Penguins and the Bruins are down to their last game of the season, I would like to say the Penguins and the Bruins, well, the Penguins will definitely be wrapping up their season at home. Boston will also be wrapping up their season at home, as this was their last road game of the season. Let me say that again. This was their last road game of the 2024-2025 NHL season. Now, both of these teams, once they are through with their matchups against the Capitals and, of course, the Devils on the Boston side of things, we'll talk about that later, at the end of the show, rather. But once they are through with those games, that's it. I mean, that's it. Tuesday night, the Boston season ends. Thursday night, the Penguin season ends. Both seasons will end at home. So with that said, we'll touch on the schedules a little bit later. But let's jump into the game. This afternoon, I say this afternoon because the game was in the afternoon, the officiating crew was Brandon Baldana. Brandon, again, if I pronounced the name wrong, and this goes for coaches and players as well, including goaltenders. If I pronounced the name incorrectly, I sincerely apologize to you. He was wearing the number 39 jersey once again. Mitch Dunning, also wearing an official jersey. He wears number 20 for the referees. For the linesmen, I want to make sure I'm not saying lions, I should say. Linesmen. Number 68 was worn by C.J. Murray. And number 80, worn by Jonathan Deschamps. Jonathan, if I pronounce the last name wrong, sincerest apologies. So there you have it. There's your officiating crew. Once again, Joe Sacco, and Mike Sullivan, they are your head coaches for this game, taking place for the second and final time this year at PPG Paints Arena. Starting goaltenders, Mike Sullivan would go to, once again, Tristan Jarry. He will go to Jarry this time, again. Went to Jarry against Sheldon Keefe. Did not go back to Nedeljkovic for this game. Nedeljkovic would be the backup for the Penguins, so it would be 35 and 39 versus, how interesting, we have a very different look for the Boston Bruins. And you're going to find out what I mean in a little bit. But the goaltender, hey, this guy used to play for the Columbus Blue Jackets, right? It's number 70, Jonas Korpisalo, getting the start against Jarry, with Jeremy Swayman in at backup. So it's 39 versus 31 at backup, and 70 versus 35 in goal. All right. Just like the last recap we did, especially today when we did a turn back the clock on the game against the St. Louis Blues, in which the Penguins lost 5-4 in overtime. We are going to start things off with the penalty summary. So here we go. In the first period of play, the Boston Bruins, Riley Duran, would go to the box for a slashing minor drawn. We're just going to call it what it is for slashing. He would go for a slashing minor, 10 minutes. Oh, sorry, not 10 minutes. I should say 3 minutes and 52 seconds in. There was a penalty at 10 minutes, but it was at 10 minutes and 17 seconds. I said 16 earlier, but I meant to say 17. Sorry about that. Also a slashing minor. This one, however, went to Pittsburgh, and it went to Christopher Letang. 2 minutes for slashing. Roughing penalties issued out to Parker Wotherspoon and Penguins Evgeny Malkin to close out the penalty summary in the first period of play. Both penalties coming at 18 minutes and 47 seconds. Those were number 29 and number 71. Riley Duran is number 62 of the Bruins. And of course, Christopher Letang, number 58 for the Penguins. Shots on goal after one period of play, heavily in favor by the Bruins at 13-6. though there was some questioning there as the official scorer would take away a shot on goal from the Boston Bruins, but then give it back. All in all, it was 13-6. After the first 20 minutes of play, Penguins being outshot 13-6. They would continue to be outshot throughout the course of the game. But moving on to the penalties called. Only 2 penalties called to Boston in the second period. The first one, actually I should say both of them, went to Nikita Zadorov. A roughing penalty for 2 minutes, but he also received 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct, I should say. Abuse of officials was the official call. Both penalties for Nikita Zadorov that Fabian Lysell would have to serve, coming at 18 minutes and 2 seconds. Ville Kovanen taking the Penguins' only penalty in the second period of play at 7 minutes and 11 seconds. A 2-minute minor for tripping. And in the third period, Christopher Letang nabbed once again. Only this time it's for boarding. A 2-minute minor for boarding at 8 minutes and 12 seconds. All right, the scoring coming up. But just to get the shots on goal by period out of the way, at the end of 40 minutes, it would be the Bruins 26, the Penguins 16, Penguins being outshot. Oh, I should say Penguins 15. Penguins were being outshot 13-9 again. So they were outshot 13-6 at the end of one period of play. Outshot 26-15 at the end of 2 periods of play. At the end of regulation, Penguins heavily outshot the Bruins 9-6. But the Bruins will come away with a great finish to the game in the shots on goal tally. We will get to that. Followed after our scoring. And with that said, we will do that when Penguins postgame continues. I will pick my 3 stars of the game as well. And I will even reveal to you, again, for the Devils, we didn't have a chance to do that, but I picked my 3 stars regardless. We got 2 of them. We didn't have a first star in that Devils game, but I picked out my first star as well. We'll do that here for this one. For this one, we will do that here for this one, but I'll also let you know who the actual 3 stars of the game were. And as we prepare to take our first break of the program, getting set up for 3 stars of the game totals, and the scoring in this one, I'd like to congratulate one of these goal scorers, Fabian Lysell, on his first career NHL goal at the NHL level. And also a congratulations going out to Rickard Rakell. A new career high in goals for Rickard Rakell as he scored the Penguins' only goal, which came on the power play. More on that in our scoring summary. And that comes your way, along with 3 stars, play of the game, perhaps an NHL look around, but definitely, and I mean definitely, the game totals, scoring, 3 stars, and the play of the game next when we return to Penguins postgame.
Take another look with Gerda Felix and Melanie Taddeo Malo, 2 powerful women of diverse backgrounds having genuine, unique, and uncomfortable conversations that everyone needs to have. Join Melanie and Gerda for conversations about what is missing from human connections.
I wonder if I could make it. It's almost getting to 8 o'clock p.m., and I am still a few more steps away from home to get to my computer to listen to CNT Radio's Cosmopolitan Culture Club. The best of the best music from around the world. Can't wait. I think I made it. CNT Radio, making your day brighter, one song at a time.
Looking for a good hockey podcast that covers your favorite hockey teams and mine? Check out On the Ice and Behind the Benches, where we chat about our favorite hockey teams from puck drop to the last play of the action. To learn more, follow the On the Ice and Behind the Benches Facebook page. Search On the Ice and Behind the Benches. Welcome back to Penguins postgame. Penguins and Bruins. Penguins fall 4-1 to the Boston Bruins. They lose the season series 2-1. But how did they fare in the shots on goal tally? We'll get to that in a moment with the game stats coming up in a matter of moments. Before we can get to the game stats, 3 stars of the game and the play of the game, and I will do an NHL look around a little bit later. But as we return to this show here for our second last program, this is Penguins postgame. One more program after this for this season, and it's a Metro showdown. The Caps taking on the Pens. Should be a good one between the Caps and the Pens. That is on Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in PPG Paints Arena. We'll finish this thing on a high note, I'm sure. I'm sure the Penguins, even after losing 4-1, I'm sure they will be ready to go and make sure that they give Alexander Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals a run for their money. Now, Washington is in the postseason as we speak. But for how long will they be? For how long will the Capitals be in the playoffs when they actually begin? We'll talk about the playoffs on that end a little bit later. But let's keep it back to our game. Like we did with the penalty summary in the opening moments of the show, we're going to get into how this scoring happened. Power play goals for both squads. But when did they happen? Did they happen in the same period? Let's find out. Elias Lindholm getting things started for the Boston Bruins with his 17th goal of the season. Pasta, also known as, or rather better known as David Pastrnak, picking up his 61st assist of the season. He picks up a second assist of the season on a goal that looked like it was going to be his, but it ended up becoming Morgan Geekie's. We're going to get to that in a second. Henry Yokiharu. Hey, that's the guy that used to play for Buffalo, right? Yep, that's right. Henry Yokiharu is on the Boston Bruins. His 7th assist of the season. And boy, you talk about getting goals late. And boy, you talk about getting goals late in games. This goal came just before the buzzer with literally like 0.3 seconds left on the clock. 19:57, 19 minutes and 57 seconds was the exact time of the goal. So Boston will go into the locker room with the lead after one period of play. They would then extend that lead after the penalty to Ville Kovanen to 2 as Fabian Lysell grabs his first NHL goal in his career. And wouldn't you know it, it's a power play goal. So chalk up your first NHL career goal in the NHL. And it's not only your first goal of the season, it's your first in your career. And it's also your first career power play goal. We'll talk about a 2-0 lead on the power play for the price of a career power play goal, a career goal, and first career goal in the NHL. Almost had his second goal in this game today. Congratulations though to him. You'll always remember your first goal. Maybe you might not remember your first assist, but you'll definitely remember your first goal in the game. Anyways, it's 2-0 Boston. Pavel Zacha picking up the assist. One of 2 assists he had in the game. Number 32 on the season for him in this one. And the next guy up to get an assist would be Okay, this is an interesting name. I apologize if I mispronounce this. I really do. But I'm going to give it a shot. So apologies again if I mispronounce the name. Murat Kunevich. I'll go with Murat. Let's go with MK. It's gonna be it's hard for me to pronounce the name, so we're gonna go with MK. And that's number 92 of the Boston Bruins. His 7th assist of the season. Hey, let Elias Lindholm into the party with the assists. He picks up assist number 29 on the season. So you got a goal and an assist in this game. David Pastrnak, with his 2nd assist of the game. Number 62 on the season for him. Morgan Geekie is credited with the goal number 32 on the year for Morgan Geekie. And that was at even strength. That was at 11 minutes and 56 seconds. Boston has gone up comfortably. It's 3-0. They're up by 3. They would win this game by 3 goals, but the costly penalty, I should say, the costly 2-minute penalty that ended up becoming 4 minutes because of unsportsmanlike conduct, abusive officials, and of course that roughing call to Nikita Zadorov. Rickard Rakell will score his new career-high 35th goal of the season. A PPG for PGH, followed after another even strength goal from Morgan Geekie, and a power play goal of Boston's own, PPG for BOS. On the assist, Philip Tomasino, who was back in the lineup for this one, his 12th assist of the season. And Vili Kovavan picking up his 5th assist of the season. So he took a penalty in the 2nd period, also picked up a assist. In this one, number 5 on the year. And the Penguins returning the favor, as Brian Mentzer was saying during the first intermission on the Penguins radio network, which is WXDX FM Pittsburgh. So the Penguins kind of returning the favor with a late goal of their own. Boston had the late goal in the 1st period. Penguins returning the late goal favor on a power play goal by Rickard Rakell, number 35 of the season for Rickard Rakell. At 19 minutes and 44 seconds. After 40 minutes, it's Boston 3, Penguins 1. 3rd period rolls around, and I mean, you could call this the difference maker. You could call this you could call the Morgan Geekie goal or the Fabian Lysell goal the game winner. I think this one took the cake, and it pretty much wrapped things up in this one. The Bruins get a goal from Jacob Lacou. I would say it's a goal, an empty net goal, if that, as Tristan Jarry was pulled. Penguins trying to get within 2. 5. 5th goal of the season for Jacob Lacou. Pavel Zacha picking up his second assist of the game, rather. Number 33rd of the season. Nikita Zadorov picking up his 16th assist of the season. And he is the only person who had 1 assist in this one. Okay, I actually, MK, Elias Lindholm, and Henry Yokoharu also had 1 assist in this game. Pavel Zacha and David Pastrnak, also known as Pasta as they call him in Boston.
I think one of the messages here to all of your teammates of the 4 teams in which you played is don't get into a prank.
Got a good stuff. They got some good stuff going on there. They got some good stuff going on there for the Boston Bruins. Don't think you won't see Fabian Lysell next year. Don't think you won't see him. You'll definitely be seeing this dude. Anywho, that'll do it for the scoring summary. And that will bring us to the final totals in this game. The Penguins were outshot by the Boston Bruins 32-24 on shots on goal. Boston won 51% of the faceoffs. Pittsburgh won 49% of the faceoffs. Both penalty kills go 2 for 3, as the power plays go 1 for 3 for both sides, the Penguins and the Bruins. The Penguins and the Bruins both spent 8 minutes in the penalty box on account of 27 hits for the Penguins, 15 hits for the Bruins, 11 blocked shots for Pittsburgh, 9 blocked shots for Boston. Boston with the upper hand in the takeaways at 12-6. Pittsburgh had 20 giveaways, Boston with 21. And those are your stats for the game. Your totals, rather. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Moving things on. Moving things along. We're going to get to the 3 stars in just a second. But before we do that, a quick look around at some of the games that have gone final. The New Jersey Devils fell to the New York Islanders 1-0 in a game that only had 1 goal. That did not go to overtime, however. Philadelphia Flyers went to overtime with the Ottawa Senators, and Ottawa picked up the game winner, a 4-3 final against the Flyers. And right now, as of just gone final besides our game, the Maple Leafs picked up another 4-1 final. They will pick up a 4-1 final. So the Bruins and the Penguins are not the only one game who have picked up a 4-1 final. Maple Leafs knock off the Hurricanes 4-1. And ongoing right now, we've got the Lightning leading the Sabres 3-2 in the second period. Capitals trailing the Blue Jackets 2-1 in the second period as well. Oilers and Jets just got started. No score with 6 minutes and 39 seconds to go. Later on tonight, the Flames will host the Sharks. And also later on tonight, the Ducks host the Avalanche. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the 3 stars of the game before we close out, or as we close out this segment. Your 3 stars of the game for the actual game before I get into my stars of the game. Third star went to Rickard Rakell, 1 goal, 1 point, no assists. Your second star went to David Pastrnak, 2 assists, 2 points, no goals. And your first star went to Elias Lindholm, 2 points, 1 assist, and 1 goal. I would kind of flip that, and I would go Elias Lindholm, my first star. My second star would go to Rickard Rakell. And my third star, it's going to go to Fabian Lysell. Really like what I saw from the dude, and it's really nice to get your first NHL goal, especially in your rookie season, let alone your 12th game in the NHL. As I said before, you'll always remember your first. So I went with Elias Lindholm, my first star, Rickard Rakell, my second star, and Fabian Lysell with the third star. But the 3 stars of the game were Rickard Rakell, David Pastrnak, and Elias Lindholm. And you know what? Those are very well deserved. When we return to Penguins postgame, it's time for the play of the game and the shake of the game. That is coming up next. And we will take another look around the league, see what's going on in the Oilers-Jets game, see what's going on in the Capitals game between the Blue Jackets and Capitals. And we'll see what's going on down in Tampa Bay as that game continues to go on in the second period of play between the Sabres and the Lightning. Back with more Penguin postgame in a moment.
Looking for conversations on the world of broadcasting, sports media, and from time to time, my favorite sports teams? Listen to Broadcast Map with me, Ali Musa. To learn more about the show and to view the upcoming schedule, like the Broadcast Map Facebook page. Search Broadcast Map.
Looking for a sports podcast that covers sports weekly as well as gets you set up for the day? Check out Weekly in Sports with me, Scott McGregor. We give some shout-outs of the week to podcasts like this one and those who do them. Discuss the Blue Jays, Bills, Raptors, and more. To learn more, check out the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. Search Sports for Beginners. All right. Apologies in advance there, everybody. We were cut off as we could not find our mic there. Sorry about that. As I was saying, we talked about the Blues and the Penguins before we did this game. A little later, and more likely tomorrow, we will be giving you a recap of the two games played out between the Orioles and the Blue Jays. That is still part of this double trouble that will be coming your way when we get an opportunity to get it to you. This is just one part of the double trouble. The other part is on the diamond. And speaking of the diamond, we will bring you back some of those finals from today's games in the major leagues. But first, and of course that's in place of our, that is in place of our game puck of the game for this show. That will return on our Washington Capitals show, which is extended to recapped on Monday, April the 21st, 2025. But we'll still cover the game as best as we can. All right. A little Bucks and Pucks action coming up, I should say, as we get closer to the end of the show. This, however, is the part of the program when we get into the play of the game. Before we do, a quick little check-in. Since we last spoke, we were talking about the games that were in the second period as we spoke. Those games have since gone final. Our final score of the Sabres Lightning game was Lightning over the Sabres 7-4. The Capitals lost 4-1 to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Still on the go right now, the Oilers leading the Jets 3-1, 1-0. It's actually 3-1 to be more specific. And down in Calgary, we have a 2-2 tie. The most recent goal in the second period of play, scored by Jan Ruda. He's a former Tampa Bay Lightning player and a former Penguin. Mind you, he did play with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Coming up in just a little bit, the Ducks will host the Avalanche. Despite the Jets trailing in their game, they have clinched a little something. We will get into that a little bit later. 3 stars of the game out of the way, the stats out of the way as well. We did that, barring some technical issues there that we were experiencing as we went through. We fought through it, and that's what we do here on Sports for Beginners and Penguins postgame as well. Of course, if you're tuning in from Penguins live postgame on WXDX FM Pittsburgh, the home of the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the best Pens coverage, welcome aboard. Glad to have you with us. My name is Scott McGregor. This is the Penguins postgame show on Sports for Beginners. One more game for both of these squads coming up real soon, but we'll get there when we get there. The shake of the game is on the way. But without further delay, it's time for the play of the game. Our play of the game for this matchup, well, let's see. Who's it gonna be that's gonna be lucky today? Who's it gonna be that's lucky today? You know what? I've been thinking about it in my head while we've been on break for the past couple of minutes, or as long as we have been on break. I've been thinking about it for a while, and I'm going to give it to the power play goal scored by Fabian Lysell. First career NHL goal in your 12th NHL game. Now, I know Penguins fans, you probably might want me to select a Penguins play that was good enough for my play of the game, but in this final battle of black and gold of the 2024-2025 season, I gotta go with Fabian Lysell's first career NHL goal. If I pronounced the name wrong, I apologize. Hopefully I pronounced it okay. If I did pronounce it wrong, my sincerest apologies. My sincerest apologies. That is our play of the game. Time now for the shake of the game. This will lead us to the closing moments of the program, which means it's almost time for Bucks and Pucks. And set the scene for the final Penguins post-game show of 2024-2025's NHL season. We will be setting the scene after Bucks and Pucks, and a bit of a Toronto sports update will be included during Bucks and Pucks. As we've talked about earlier in our NHL look around, the Maple Leafs knocked off the Hurricanes 4-1 in Raleigh, North Carolina today. The Toronto Blue Jays, we're going to find out how they fared. And we'll also touch on the Toronto Raptors, who are also in action today around the same time that this game was in action in the afternoon. We'll get you a look at their final against the 76ers of Philadelphia. Maybe we'll get you some more finals from the NBA. All the games actually have gone final as we speak. So maybe we'll get you all the finals from there as well during Bucks and Pucks. But with that said, let's get to the shake of the game before we go off topic any further. Starting off with the victorious Boston Bruins. And I'm feeling given, even though the season of giving, which is in the December month, has kind of come and gone. But I'm feeling giving. So we're going to give out 3 shake of the games to both Pittsburgh and Boston. And we're also going to give out 2 game puck of the games to Pittsburgh and Boston. So who knows? A recipient of the shake of the game could wind up with 2 awards after this show is over. The first reward of 3 shake of the games to the Boston Bruins side of the ice goes to goaltender Jonas Korpisalo. An impressive performance in goal. Save percentage of .958. 59 minutes and 54 seconds on the ice. 23 saves on 24 shots. Just 1 goal given up. That was a goal given up on the power play to Rickard Rakell. And speaking of goals, the next recipient for the Boston Bruins is a man that had 2 assists in this game. And we're talking about Pasta, David Pastrnak. 2 assists in this game, 2 points. He was a +2. The rest of the stats will speak for themselves. And finally, he scored one of Boston's 4 goals in this one. We're going to talk about the rookie, Fabian Lysell. He's going to get your third and final shake of the game for the Boston Bruins. Your third and final shake of the game for the Boston Bruins goes to Fabian Lysell. We also have a shake of the game going out to Jonas Corposalo. And we have one going to Pasta, David Pastrnak. What about the Pittsburgh Penguins? Well, our first shake of the game is going to go out to Penguins goal scorer, Rickard Rakell. Love what I saw from Rickard Rakell, but probably could have got a couple more in his new career high. Congratulations, though, to Rickard Rakell on his career high, his new career high. Next up, we're going to go to Christopher Letang for the shake of the game. And finally, we're going to go to Tristan Jarry. So both goaltenders winding up with the shake of the game on either side. Jarry will finish the night with a save percentage of .903. An ice time of 59 minutes and 51 seconds. 1 power play goal given up, 2 goals given up at even strength, 3 goals given up as a result. The goal scored by Jacob Lacoux, JL, I'll call it, in case I pronounced that wrong, was an empty net goal. Jarry made 28 saves on 31 shots that he faced. Of course, that goal, which was shot number 32, was not faced by Tristan Jarry. I thought Jarry did pretty well in this game. I really did. But he was not getting help in this game. And we'll reveal a little bit of... Oh, wait, I said we weren't going to do the game puck of the game. Oh, well, you know what? We'll do it. We'll do it with the Bucks and Pucks segment. We'll do that. And that, of course, is coming up next. Also coming up next, even though we are adding in a game puck of the game for this program, also coming up next, how did the Raptors fare against the 76ers? How did Toronto sports fare in general? A Toronto sports update. Bucks and Pucks. Game puck of the game. And what's cooking on the final Penguins post-game show of the season for 2024-2025. I wanted to say what's next for Boston and what's next for Pittsburgh, but both of these teams are out of the playoffs. So really, as we start to set the scene, really, we're just setting the scene for what's going to be cooking on our next Penguins post-game show. And a couple of thank yous will be coming up as we wrap up. So stay tuned. More Penguins postgame, Bruins Pens, right after this. After the break, as a word from Broadcast Map and Sienna T Radio, who is going to get, which two players on Pittsburgh and Boston are going to get the game puck of the game? What can you expect on the final Penguins postgame show of the season? Plus, what happened in Pirates land and Blue Jays land? How did Toronto sports fare today? It all happens next.
CNT Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down. Nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on CNT Radio. Hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on CNT Radio.
Take another look with Gerda Felix and Melanie Taddeo Malo, two powerful women of diverse backgrounds having genuine, unique, and uncomfortable conversations that everyone needs to have. Join Melanie and Gerda for conversations about what is missing from human connections.
Looking for a sports podcast that covers sports weekly as well as gets you set up for the day? Check out Weekly in Sports with me, Scott McGregor. We give some shout-outs of the week to podcasts like this one and those who do them. Discuss the Blue Jays, Bills, Raptors, and more. To learn more, check out the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. Search Sports for Beginners. Join the fun. Afternoon, evening, daytime, it doesn't matter. Join the fun. Check out episodes of Weekly in Sports in podcast format from the end of the month of January and the end of the month of February. And this just in, we were unfortunately unable to get in our third episode for the end of the month of March, but that will be coming your way next Thursday, April 24th, 2025. We will not be live streaming that, but it will be happening as a recording on the Wednesday of that day, April 23rd, 2025. That is our third episode of Weekly in Sports, which is in short WISP. Weekly in Sports. Before we get into the surprise game puck of the game and our other stuff to close out this program, minus setting the scene, which we'll do so in a moment, I would like to say to everyone that on this Weekly in Sports show, we will be talking Professional Women's Hockey League and NHL check-in and more, including, okay, yeah, we may not talk Elimination Chamber, but we will definitely be looking. Even if we weren't able to see it live, we will definitely be looking to see how WrestleMania 41 went down in WWE land. All right, time for our Toronto sports update. We'll get to this and then get to the game puck of the game. Reminder, 2 players from each squad are going to grab a game puck of the game. And excuse what I said there before the break. I'm glad we did break after that, actually. What I meant to say, not the Raptors and the Sixers, I meant to say the Raptors and the Spurs. For our Toronto sports update, we will jump right in with that. As you already know, the Toronto Maple Leafs, which you can hear on Maple Leaf Post Recap, the entire recap of that one. The Maple Leafs knocked off the Carolina Hurricanes to get a W. So for Toronto sports action, they beat the Hurricanes. That's 1 W. On the diamond, the Blue Jays. Well, what do you think about that? It's another split. But wait a minute, it wasn't 4 games. It was supposed to be 3 games. Well, if you haven't been paying attention, not to say that you haven't been paying attention, but if you haven't heard, the game on Friday, due to thunder and lightning, it looks like, was rained out and will be made up as part of a doubleheader during what was supposed to be a 3-game series in Camden Yards. It was supposed to be a 3-game series. It will now be a 4-game series, with game number 1 of this supposed 3-game series taking place as part of a day game and afternoon game on July 29th, 2025. That game that was postponed was supposed to take place on Friday, April the 11th, 2025. But on our Blue Jays game recap, we will break down Blue Jays' 7-6 win in 10 innings over the Orioles. And the Orioles' victory on Saturday, when the Orioles knocked off the Blue Jays 5-1 in regulation in 9 innings. Speaking of Sunday, as that is today, other finals include the Yankees dropping 5-4 to the Giants. The Pirates were shut out 4-0 by the Cincinnati Reds. The Kansas City Royals beat the Guardians 4-2 today. The Miami Marlins beat the Washington Nationals 11-4. The Tampa Bay Rays beat the Braves 8-3. The Astros knocked off the Angels 7-3. 5-1 the final between the Tigers and the Twins. The Twins knocking off the Tigers 5-1. Red Sox beat the White Sox 3-1 today. Padres beat the Rockies 6-0. A touchdown and a 2-point conversion for the New York Mets as they beat the Athletics 8-0. 5-2, the Diamondbacks beat the Brewers today. And the Rangers taking on the Mariners. The Mariners beat the Rangers 3-1. Cubs beat the Dodgers 4-2 today. The records for the Cubs and Dodgers right now are 11-7 and 11-6. You talk about a little bit of taste of revenge there from that Japan series. And the only game that ended up with a touchdown and the extra point, not a 2-point conversion, the Cardinals knock off the Philadelphia Phillies 7-0. Meanwhile, back to Toronto sports. The Raptors playing in their last game of their season. They take on the Spurs, and the Spurs will defeat the San Antonio Spurs, to be more specific. And they took on the Raptors. Raptors fall 125-118. Other finals in the NBA, as we add this into the Bucks and Pucks, we have the Wizards knocking off the Heat 119-118. The 76ers got knocked off 122-102 by the Chicago Bulls. The Milwaukee Bucks beat the Detroit Pistons in overtime 140-133. Also in overtime, it went into 2 overtimes regardless. The Indiana Pacers beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 126-118. The New York Knicks beat the Brooklyn Nets 113-105. The Orlando Magic lost to the Atlanta Hawks 117-105. 93-86, the Celtics beat the Hornets. Your final score there. Sacramento Kings beat the Phoenix Suns 109-98. In overtime, the Warriors lost 124-119 to the LA Clippers. The Lakers lost 109-81 to the Portland Trailblazers. The Thunder knocked off the Pelicans 115-100. The Jazz fall 116-100 to the Timberwolves. The Memphis Grizzlies beat the Mavericks 132-97. And the Houston Rockets fall 126-111 to the Denver Nuggets. Keep up to date on all the action around the NBA, MLB, NHL, NFL, etc., by going to their respective websites. But please note that any rebroadcast or otherwise descriptions, any photos, any recordings, without the express written consent of those leagues I mentioned, including the NHL, etc., is strictly prohibited. With that said, game puck of the game time. Bucks and Pucks became Bucks, Pucks, and Baskets. Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe that's what I need to do on a post game or two. Bucks, Pucks, and Baskets. Maybe that's what I need to do next year. A little Bucks, Pucks, and Baskets. Or maybe I'll do Pucks and Baskets. I don't know. We'll see which one I want to do better. In any case, game puck of the game time. Because I did say we were going to do this. So let's go ahead and do it. 2 members of Boston, 2 members of Pittsburgh are going to receive the game puck of the game. The first one for each side is going to go to the goaltenders, Tristan Jarry and Jonas Corposalo. So they both get a shake of the game, and they both end up with the game puck of the game. The other recipient for Boston that will get a game puck of the game. Remember how I said guys would get double the reward? Well, Jonas Corposalo and Fabian Lysell were the lucky ones on the Boston Bruins side, as he will receive the second game puck of the game for the Boston Bruins. For the Pittsburgh Penguins, the second recipient of the game puck of the game, well, he didn't do very much in this contest, but he was a hitting machine. I'm talking about the former Maple Leaf, Connor Dewar. He is going to join Tristan Jarry with a game puck of the game. Jarry also received a shake of the game, so Jonas Corposalo and Fabian Lysell for the Boston Bruins, the game puck of the game and shake of the game recipients. Tristan Jarry and Ricard Raquel getting the shake of the game. And our game puck of the game for Pittsburgh, along with Tristan Jarry, it will go to former Maple Leaf Connor Dewar. 6 hits in this game. Yeah, you heard me. 6 hits. Connor, you were a hitting machine. I'd like to call you what I called Teddy Bluger. But you know what? I'm not going to. Because how did you not get penalized in this game? How did you not get penalized? Referee, how did you not penalize Connor Dewar in this game? How did you not penalize him? How did you not penalize this dude? How did you not penalize him? What a day for Connor Dewar. What a day for the Penguins. What a day for the Bruins. Once again, your final score of the final game of the 2025-2024 NHL regular season that has Boston winning the season series 2-1. Bruins 4, Penguins 1. Up next for the Bruins, their final home game of the season. They will take on the New Jersey Devils at 7 p.m. Eastern this Tuesday. Game time is also at 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Mountain, midnight in the UK, and 1 a.m. in France. Same can be said for the Capitals and the Pens. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Penguins fans alike, we've waited a long time, but good things come to those who wait. And guess what? We got ourselves a treat at the end of the season. It's the Great 8. Alex Ovechkin versus Simply Sensational, number 87. Ovechkin versus Crosby. The recap comes your way after Good Friday, as that kind of will fall on a Good Friday, so we will bring that to you recording-wise on Monday, April the 21st, 2025. Pens and the Caps doing battle Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific. We will have Good Friday off for the long weekend. Stay tuned to the Facebook page for an update on if we are changing that to a Tuesday. And if we are doing that, we will bring that to you when we can on that show following the game puck of the game for the final time this season. Yes, I said final time this season. Following the game puck of the game, when we give that out to the Washington Capitals and the Pittsburgh Penguins, stay tuned because we're going to be giving out some more Penguins awards on that post-game show. Of course, we'll break down the game. We'll break down the scoring, penalties, coaches, goaltenders, etc., etc. But in the portion of where we would say what's next, it's time for awards of the season. Who will be getting those awards? Which Penguins players will get those awards? Find out on Monday, April 21st, 2025, a few days after the game, and it's Easter Monday that day. So we shall see if we're able to do it on Easter Monday. Maybe we'll do it on maybe we'll do it on Tuesday. Maybe you'll have two programs on Wednesday, one on Sports for Beginners and one on Weekly in Sports. We don't know. We do know this. We will talk to you after the games. Double Trouble continues on Monday as the programs continue to come out on a busy week for us to bring you shows out, both from Turning Back the Clock to Getting Current. It all's coming your way. Don't worry about it. I wish I wanted to turn back the clock on March for Weekly in Sports, but I've decided we're going to just go right to April. Hopefully, in the next run of Weekly in Sports, as we go into 2026, we're able to bring you an end of the month March program. But we'll see where the tide falls. Final Penguins postgame show of the season comes your way on Monday. But the final game of the season comes your way Thursday. Final check-in as we are about to sign off. The Flames have taken a 3-2 lead over the Sharks in the third period of play. You know how I said the Penguins weren't the only team with a 4-1 loss, I should say? Well, after you add Washington and Columbus to the mix, with the Jackets knocking off the Capitals 4-1, of course the Maple Leafs knocking off the Hurricanes 4-1. Add the Oilers knocking off the Jets 4-1 in Winnipeg. And we'll see where we go with the Ducks and the Avalanche. That game just got started. It doesn't look like we're going to get that with Calgary and the Sharks, but we'll see where the game ends up. Thank you guys so much for joining us, whether it is your first time, your 81st time, or somewhere in between. We thank you for joining us and really hope that you'll come back next season. For everything that I've mentioned, especially people that I've shouted out over the course of our show's run for 2024-2025's NHL season, including the old 2-9er, Phil Borg, who does this at the end of every 2 minutes with the old 2-9er, and he'll do it again ahead of that game against the Capitals. Enjoy the hockey game. And as the great Mike Lang says, we do it win or lose. And Mike Lang will always be remembered on our program and never be forgotten. He does this after every Penguins victory. We're doing it win or lose. Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has just left the building. My name is Scott McGregor. Thank you guys so very much for being with us and bearing with us as we navigate through another 82 game season. I can't promise that our plan in 2022, I should say 2022, 2026, excuse me. We started the show in 2020. We started Sports for Beginners in 2022. In 2026, rather, I can't say that the plan will be to go through another 82 games, but you'll find out what our target of games will be for next season. The one thing I can tell you, the one thing I will tell you, as we are wrapping up here, some of the Penguins matchups in the Atlantic Division will be covered next season, including this battle of black and gold, or black and yellow, between Pittsburgh and Boston. We will definitely be doing the Metro Showdowns, including the Battle of Pennsylvania. And yes, we will also run recaps of Penguins Capitals. More on that during the Capital Recap. It'll be a 1-hour program, so be sure to join us, even if it ends up becoming a 2-hour program. There's going to be a lot to talk about and a lot to reflect on, so be sure to join us for that. My name is Scott McGregor. Let's go, Pens! Let's finish this season on a high note. Talk to you after Caps and Pens. Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has just left the building. You've just listened to Pittsburgh Penguins hockey on the Sports for Beginners podcast. To learn more about the show and to view the upcoming schedule, like the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. Search Sports for Beginners or visit the official Sports for Beginners podcast website. Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay tuned. And remember that it is not goodbye, it is until next time. And you'd have to be here to believe it.